Good morning. You're listening to Live with Necee. This month's segment is Health, a Journey to Healing. And I have with me a very good friend and one of my many talented young ladies who has been not only a friend of us, but also a friend to our family. And her name is Marlene Wright, and she is a certified holistic health life coach, as well as a licensed professional therapist. So good morning, Marlene.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am doing wonderful.
You know, I'm so glad that you have the time to share with us about our health and how vital it is in our everyday living. So welcome again. And how's the weather in Richmond?
It is raining. Cats and dogs here in Richmond this morning. We've had some pretty beautiful days, but today's pretty rainy. So just coming running in and out of the rain right now.
Oh, wow. I don't want to, make you feel bad, but over here it's nice and sunny and feeling.
I'm sure it is.
So it's awesome. Hey, listen, we've been talking off and on throughout the course of a month, and I noticed that you had a seminar recently in Newport News, Virginia, and you shared about the different real foods that we can eat pertaining to our bodies. And in that seminar, you mentioned something so important that it just like blew me away when you identified the food with our body parts. How
Right.
in the world, girl? Could you explain that? Because that is such a phenomenal thing for me. It just blew me away. So can you explain what you did?
Absolutely. Well, the premise is, and one of the things that I pretty much focus on when I work with individuals or if I speak is that real food is nutritional magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that God designed real food, which is food in its most natural, unadulterated state, to work specifically with different parts of our body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you eat food in its most natural state, it actually has a DNA blueprint that works directly with the body part it's supposed to support. So when I did the seminar, it was Falling in Love with Whole Foods. What I was really wanting to hone in on is that not only is food intelligent, but God has given us clues with certain fruits and vegetables by something that's called the doctrine of signatures. So what the doctrine of signatures is basically fruits and vegetables that mimic or look like the body parts they support. So, for instance, if you cut open a piece of citrus fruit,
Mm-hmm.
the inside of it they look like little vessels all around. Well, if you look at the inside of a woman's breast, it also has those same vessels. Or if you look at celery, it looks like it's stalks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it mimics the bones in the body. So not only did God design food to be intelligent, but he said, I'm going to actually give you clues with certain fruits and vegetables. You look at what that fruit or vegetable looks like, and it'll show you what it supports. Like if you cut a carrot, it looks like an iris. It supports an eye because it's high in vitamin A. So it was just kind of a quick reference, and I actually gave a handout on that. And then it's something that your listeners can actually look up, the doctrine of signatures.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lots of information on it online. They can go on Pinterest, and there's lots of little handouts that show the actual fruit and the body part it supports. And I always recommend, you can make a fun salad with those different fruits and vegetables, or you can decide to, cook or saute them. But it's just something to kind of keep in mind. He didn't leave us empty-handed. God allows us to, not only get nutrients from the fruits and vegetables, but also be able to read them so that we can support our bodies in the highest capacity.
That's really good. It definitely, it just motivated me to eat more of the certain fruits that the body for a specific, for one thing, like the mushroom. You held up the mushroom and you asked and you asked the attendees, what does the mushroom look like, sliced? And it looked like an ear. And I'm like, what? That is so crazy to me.
Yes.
So that's
And
awesome.
mushrooms are awesome. Hmm.
That is so good. That is so good. So I love mushrooms anyway. So that's always in my salad. But to know that, hey, I'm eating something that's going to help my hearing, it makes it
Right.
like more better, like bring awareness of what we're doing. So Marlene, tell us, how did you get into becoming a certified holistic nutritionist?
Well, honestly, Opal, I have always loved like fresh fruits and vegetables. I remember even being like a really little girl and taking like whole tomatoes and eat them like an apple, or like weird stuff, kind of like onions. And I liked olives and things that most children didn't really have the taste for. So I've always kind of had an affinity to whole natural foods, and I kind of dibbled and dabbled in it over the years. But it wasn't until I actually lost a child. I lost a daughter at 17 weeks, which was pretty traumatic for my family and I. But it gave me a wake-up call. This was back in 2012. It gave me a wake-up call because I joined a lot of support groups and, other women who experienced similar losses as myself. And I really started kind of wondering, there's a lot of women out here that are experiencing these type of losses. What is it that makes it more challenging now for women to hold on to their babies? And that led me into nutrition and health and wellness and self-care. And I started doing research, and I came across this wonderful school called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And I talked to someone there, and it really did resonate with me what they were doing in their program. And basically, everything pretty much starts with food. And so I decided to go ahead and enroll, and that began my journey on to, becoming a health coach. In between time, God ended up blessing us with a little girl. So my learning process was lengthened a little bit because I did actually have a daughter in between. And so I actually received my certification to be a health coach in September of 2014. And so from there, I have worked on building my business, educating others about, how food works in the body, helping people, doing individual coaching. I've done some speaking seminars, and I have actually recently just launched my website, which has been a wonderful project in the making for about a year now. And so with the launch of the website, it's become, amazing because I've had a lot of reception there too. And so, just right now, getting the word out there, I truly am passionate about turning people, particularly busy women, because a lot of times we're the ones that neglect ourselves, but I want to turn people on to whole foods because, to me, it all starts with food. And when you understand how food works in your body and the magic that happens when you're eating healthy and you're doing all the right things, it motivates you to want to do right and eat healthy. So that's pretty much how I got into it and where I am now with the health coaching.
Wow, that's amazing. That is, wow. Because you know what I always believe too, that out of our misery comes ministry. Out of the things that we go through, we are able to help other people to do better or have a change of heart or have a change of mind. And that is exactly what out of your tragedy came a blessing, not only for you and your family, but for you to share with other women who may have had a child, who may have lost a child somewhere in their life, or who's going through and battling physical ailments, and dealing with physical problems and things like that, to gear us into knowing that, hey, it's all about our nutrition. Because you're right when you said that majority of us don't really take care of ourselves because we tend to do things for other people.
Right.
And so we pretty much sometimes, most of the time, we neglect our own nutrition, our own health, even the simple thing is rest. just being able
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
sleep and stuff like that. So I know that you mentioned that you're a holistic nutritionist. When you mention, what does holistic means and how does that all incorporated into nutrition?
Okay, well, holistic means you're taking more than just one part. So you're working with the mind, you're working with the body, as well as the emotions and the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So holistic is kind of like, if you think about like someone getting some type of service, it's like your services that you're getting or the things you're focused on is a wraparound. So all of these things wrap around you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you focus on one part too much, you'll become out of balance. So it's more than just focusing on nutrition, because your nutrition can be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But if your stress levels are high, if you're not focusing on your self-care, you're not able to manage your emotions, then it's still going to create health issues in your body. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining optimal balance. And that's why I take a holistic approach, because I'm not just focusing in on what you're eating, but I'm focusing in on what barriers may stop you from eating well. How often are you taking time to take care of yourself? Do you have a spiritual life? What type of spiritual practices do you use? Are you meditating? Are you relaxing? So that's what the holistic comes in. That's what the holistic part is. It's really honing in on every aspect of you as an individual that contributes to your wellness.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm definitely going to take advantage of you on my radio station this morning, because because I am definitely going to do that, because I have a busy lifestyle,
Yes.
And with that, I find myself at times going to grab something to go. Then I know that it's not healthy, or a honey bun and drinking water because I'm in between clients and I really can't have time. I don't really have time for lunch or whatever. So I need to grab something. What can you share for me to kind of gear me back on the track when I am in a busy moment of my life and I can't really sit down and eat a salad?
Well, it really is about switching on a different part of your mind that says, how can I optimize the nutritional capacity of whatever I'm eating in the moment? So that is going to take some personal responsibility, because you're going to have to plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times, and we're all guilty of it. No one is perfect. We're all human.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier sometimes to reach for the honey bun or the Snicker bar or whatever we can get our hands on, because our blood sugar is like in the ground and we have to do something, because, you start to get all kind of symptoms, dizziness or irritability and all those things. So my recommendation is, if you're a snacker or you need something quick, when you're at home, take maybe, I would say, an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Just put some things in Ziploc bags. That's what I have to do. That's actually what I do for my kids too. So I'll put nuts in a Ziploc bag, maybe create like 5 packets of them.
Mm-hmm.
Get things that are quick and easy grabs, like bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Very inexpensive. Put them in your purse, put them in your bag, just in case. Apples are another inexpensive, very good option for you. And then you can even bring a jar of almond butter or peanut butter to work. So if you do need to snack on that apple, you want to kind of curb the sugar highs and lows, so pair it with a protein. So having the apples on deck, peanut butter on deck, bananas, a few nuts, these are things that are going to switch off that part of you that says, you know what, I'm just going to settle for anything. Because it really is a lot about having self-respect and being kind to yourself. So when you really kind of focus in on, okay, the honey bun is good, it's sweet, it hits me where I need it to for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know what it does in your body, you may have second thoughts, because honey buns, are what I like to call food-like edible substances. So this is something that you can eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
It tastes good. Your body can digest it. It takes a lot longer to digest, but it has no DNA blueprint. So what happens is, when you consume too much honey bun, the body doesn't recognize it.